Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Kelvin P. Ringgold, Prince of Positive, Oracle of Optimism, coming to you once again from sunny Liverpool, New York. How you doing? Things pretty good here. It's been raining off and on. It's been sunny off and on. But all in all, life is magnificent. We are having a little weather here. There's a little wind outside, and there's some stuff blowing against the house, making some noise. Hopefully you won't hear too much of it, and maybe I can tune it up when we get there. But know that life here is good, and we have a question for you. You know, this is that time of year when everybody, all the gurus, come out with their rules for success. You know, everybody's got rules for success, and they're not always the same thing. But let's take a real look at these rules of success. Rules, schmools. We don't need no stinking rules. So I decided this year I wasn't going to give rules to success. After all, we heard them last year, and the year before, and the year before, and why listen to them again? You know, we're human. We're rebellious. We don't need any rules. We can figure this all out ourselves. You know, and many of us are Americans. My leadership here? No, my readership. The people who listen to me. Yeah. Many of us are Americans, although we do span the globe a little bit. But as Americans in particular, we hate to be told what to do. All these rules about what we must do, what we should do, what we need to do. And I like to give you all that stuff too. But you know, the fact of the matter is, and even with all these guys telling us what we must do to become successful, it's all rubbish, horseradish, baloney. You don't need to do anything. As a matter of fact, the only thing that you absolutely must do to succeed is keep breathing. Just keep breathing. Because let's face it, once you're dead, your chances for massive success diminish significantly, exponentially. But even then, there are those people whose success has come post-mortem, after they died. Especially in artists and musicians, when after their death, people finally came to realize their genius posthumously. Now, admittedly, they didn't have a chance to enjoy it, but there are many cases, or at least a lot of cases, is that the same thing as many, where it actually happened. The success came after they died. But their success did eventually come. So this time, I'm not going to tell you what you must do. I've known people who were jerks who became successful being jerks. As a matter of fact, there was a guy I used to listen to, Rich Jerk was the name, and he became rich. I've known humble people who achieved massive success. It was massive to them. People who stumbled on success accidentally. People who achieved success and have absolutely no clue how it happened. And I've known people who had success handed down to them by some benefactor who thought they deserved it or they were worthy. So there are all kinds of ways to get there. Now, are there certain traits or mindsets or habits or activities that seem to be common among most happy, successful people? Yeah, of course there are. But if you're the type of person who seems to need to build everything from scratch, to beat known customs into submission and bend them to your will despite the odds and or the headaches, go for it. Enjoy the ride. But your timing and your level of success may be different, lesser or slower, than those who have embraced certain proven principles. Just know that before you embark. Welcome to the Intensely Positive Podcast with your host, Kelvin P. Ringgold. Preset your mindset to make every day count and make positivity your way of life. Are you ready?
Let's just do this!
But again, you could be one of the lucky ones. Somebody could hand you the winning lotto ticket. It's happened before. A couple of years ago in Albany, there was a person standing in line waiting for a lotto ticket. Somebody jumped in front of them and bought the ticket in front of them. They were furious. And then they got up to the counter and got the winning lotto ticket. It won gazillions of dollars. And you start to think of it, if it hadn't been for that person that jumped in front of them, they would have got that ticket. The guy behind them, or the person behind them would have gotten the winning ticket. So there's all kinds of ways to do it. But which way do you want? So today I am not going to tell you what you must do. But I am going to mention a few strategies and or observations and or habits that might be beneficial should you decide to adopt or adapt or implement or embrace them. No hard sell, no must-dos, no send me money, no membership site things, just a few things you might think about if you want to. And if you don't, no. How's that? Is that fair? Say yes. There are things I've used that worked for me and or others that I know. Some will seem complex. Some will seem ridiculously simple. Or maybe even just ridiculous. You have free will, my friend, to do as you choose. Okay, rule number 1. Just kidding. I said no rules, right? I just had to do that so I could get your heart working. But this is my first thought here. Wake up. Get up. That's kind of basic, If you want to do something, you need to get up and get moving. Even if someone was going to come to your house and come to your door and ring the doorbell to give you a bag of money, you need to get up to go open it. You may as well beat the rush and just get up in the first place, right? There is a possibility that somebody could commit breaking and entering into your house, and they could bust through your bedroom door with a weapon and hand you a bag of money and go like, "Don't move till I leave, and don't spend the money until I'm out of the house." It could happen like that. But barring that, probably you're going to need to get up and at some point, right? So just, you might think about beating the June rush and get up. Idea number 2. Do something. All right, I understand. But doing something, we're not talking about a rule. We're just saying that it helps increase the odds of your success. You can still sit there and wait for all those other scenarios we talked about. This happened when I was a kid. There was a show that came on every week back in the black and white picture days, right? If you can believe that. Yes, I was alive then. Anyway, the show was called The Millionaire. And it was a story where some deserving person would just be in their house minding their own business, and this guy would drive up on a black limo. I think those are the only color limos they had back then, and walk up to this Leave It to Beaver looking house, except this was actually before Leave It to Beaver, I believe. Knock on the door, and when somebody answered, he would hand them a check for $1 million. That was really sweet. That probably still happens these days. Bear in mind, the person who answered the door had to get up to go answer the door. I'm just saying. But aside from that type of scenario, chances are, if you want to be successful at something, you're going to have to do something, or it'll be helpful to do something. For instance, it's hard to lose weight if you just sit in a chair, buy food, and eat. Because if you sit by the chair and eat, you keep giving yourself calories, and then you've got to do something with them for them to go away. And unless you have a way to increase your body metabolism by a lot, it's going to require activity, right? So if you've got a particular direction you want to move in, doing something is good. Now, something sometimes can be as simple as asking someone, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about being this. I got an interest in this. You know anything about it?" And they may have some ideas for you. It'll give you something else to look at or think about that you hadn't thought of before. Sometimes having input like that is good to help you fine-tune the ideas that you actually want to work with. Life is really easy these days if you're looking for a job. There are so many places you can just Google, I want a job, and things will come up that you can look for. Monster.com you can put your resume up there, and people who are actively looking for what it is you do might run across you and decide, hey, let me call that guy. Hey, Kelvin, are you still wanting to do whatever that was you put this paper in for? Could happen, but at least you had to do something. You had to put that resume up there so they had something to look at to increase the odds that someone was going to notice you. So doing something, that's not a bad idea, right? Say yes. Right. Here's another idea of what something could be. Something could be just as simple as writing down ideas of what you might want to do, what you wish to accomplish. It can be whimsical, I want to save the world, or it can be more specific, your choice. Then something might be, or something could be, why do I want to do that? There's a very nice book by a guy named Simon Sinek, SimonSinek, entitled Start With Why. Because a lot of times, why drives why we do something anyway. So why do you want to do what it is you want to do? Why is it you want to feel the way you want to feel? And the concept of the book is that you'll go a long way towards keeping your motivation when you start anything if you maintain a strong connection with why you're doing it. Now, here's a little tip on working with your why that maybe a lot of people won't tell you. You see, your why at its base level is going to be because it makes you feel good, and it makes you feel good about you. And while many people have different reasons for feeling good about themselves, that's still going to be the foundation for you. It's okay to feel good about yourself when you accomplish things. And while you're sitting there protesting any question about feeling good about yourself, because a lot of people think that's not important, it's not good to feel good about yourself. That's a horseradish. When you accomplish something, whatever it is, maybe it's, helping to eliminate world hunger. Maybe you're going to eradicate disease. You want to help end poverty? Absolutely. Maybe you want to buy your mom the new house she's always wanted. That was one for me. And it was one from my friend Les Brown, motivational speaker. Awesome guy, if you ever have a chance to listen to him. Les worked on it a little harder than me. So his mom got her new house. Mine, unfortunately, did not get hers from me. And, I feel kind of bad about that sometimes, to be honest. However, my why at that time obviously wasn't strong enough for me to follow through with that. Les's was. Maybe you want to write a book. Well, why should I feel good about writing a book? Well, what are you going to do what's that book going to be about? How's it going to help people? Is it going to give them information they could use? Are you going to save somebody's life because of a technique they didn't know about? Are you going to make them laugh? Because, we need as much laughter as we can get these days. Whatever the book is about that comes out of you because you have an urge to do it, why you want to do it is important. So, furthering that, imagining it done, when you finish doing whatever it was you said you wanted to do, how will you feel about it? And my first guess is going to be you're going to feel pretty good about it. So, if you solve world hunger, you ought to feel really good. If you eradicate all disease, oh my goodness, yeah, you should feel really good about that. That is not a selfish thing. Or even if it's a selfish thing, how many people did you help while you were being selfish? A lot of people have a wrong idea about selfish. See, real selfishness is when you do something for you and you don't really care about anybody else. When you do something for yourself that helps other people, I don't really look at that as being selfish. I mean, if you can help a whole nation or world of people with the idea that you have that you selfishly put together because you want X, I think that's a fair trade. But whatever it is, when you get it done, how will you feel about you? I rest my case. So that's it, my friends. That's the way to stay hooked up. That's the no rules way of becoming successful. Yep. No rules, nothing you got to do. But you need to wake up. Oh, no needs, no rules. So wake up if you want to. Get up if you want to. Do something. Whatever you want to do. Something towards your goal. Stay in touch with your why. And wait. And wait. And wait. And wait. And wait. And wait. And keep waiting. Because there's a couple of things I didn't say about this method of becoming successful. For instance, I didn't say it would be fast. I didn't say it was guaranteed. I didn't say you wouldn't starve to death waiting for your chip to come in. I didn't say it would be adequate when you got it, whatever it is. And I didn't say you'd enjoy it. All I said was it could happen. But the next question is, what are the odds that it will happen? I figure those are probably about the same odds of getting struck by lightning twice in your lifetime. And according to this research I just got on the web, the odds of you getting struck by lightning this year are 1 in 960,000. The odds of you getting struck by lightning twice in your lifetime is 1 in 9 million. 1 in 9 million. So we're talking about being successful. The odds of you winning the Powerball and guessing the right numbers for that are 1 in 292 million. So you're much more likely to be struck by lightning twice in your lifetime than you are getting rich just sitting around doing nothing. Now, again, your idea of success, whatever that is to you, but if it has to do with money and a Powerball ticket, it's big. It's huge. The odds are terrible. So which means it's probably not going to happen, right? But are those the odds you really want to work with? Because if they're not, and you want some better odds than 1 in 292 million, then you need to do something else where you can exercise some control. You need to do something where your efforts can affect your outcome, where your output can affect your income, where your influence can have an effect on your circumstances. And sitting and hoping and waiting is not it. Millionaire author and coach T. Harv Eker, author of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, I heard him once say, I've been meditating for 35 years. 35 years, and not once while I was meditating did a bag of money fall out of the sky and hit me on the head. So if you want better odds than 1 in 9 million for that, or 1 in 292 million for the ticket, chances are you may need to revert back to some of those rules we were talking about earlier. And there's a few we can talk about, but we're going to start with deciding what you want intentionally. Defining it clearly and specifically and writing it down. Yes, writing it down. Taking inspired action and doing what needs to be done. And persisting. That means keep going until you get it. So if you were interested in those original 9 rules where you just get successful without doing anything, you've got a timeline for that. If you want to do it another way, and you're obviously you're listening to Vitamin K, so obviously you want to do something else, then we're going to have to revert back to some old rules. And we're not going to discuss them a whole lot right now, but they'll be coming later, probably one at a time. Again, it's halfway through the second month of the year, so you've probably been hearing a bunch already. If not, refer to the stuff we said last year. But we'll cover some more later. For now that we've covered this, we'll see you next time.
Wow, that was awesome.